In Switzerland, near Geneva, is the big idea of CERN, the world's largest particle physics laboratory. The Large Hadron Collider, or LHC, built in a 27-kilometre tunnel and 50 metres below ground, will allow CERN scientists to examine not just matter, but antimatter, dark matter, and the forces that created the universe itself. The length of the tunnel will enable the acceleration of two streams of particles in opposite directions, which will then collide at close to the speed of light. The result should be a microcosm of conditions just after the Big Bang created the universe 13 billion years ago. ALICE and ATLAS are two of 4 enormous detectors being built at different points around the tunnel, designed to record these collisions and explore the fundamental nature of matter and the basic forces that shape our universe. A team from the University of Birmingham's Particle Physics Group are among scientists from over 500 academic institutions and companies involved in the LHC project, and particularly in the workings of the ATLAS and ALICE detectors.
The Large Hadron Collider project as a whole has 4 experiments in it. 2 are specialist experiments and 2 are very general experiments to study everything that we hope we'll see at high energy. One of them is ATLAS, one of this is called CMS. So the LHC project is pushing our knowledge of matter to the smallest scale yet studied on Earth.
According to the theory of the Big Bang, the universe suddenly emerged from an incredibly dense and hot state. Energy, matter, antimatter, pretty much everything that exists was somehow created in those first few moments. But scientists who study the mind-bending enigmas of physics and the universe have been eternally stumped about something most of us would take for granted. They can't figure out why things have mass, but they know they do. So they've been looking for something they call the God particle to help them explain.
What happens is the signals come in on these black cables, and the rest of the racks here have lots of modules which act like a little brain, really, and they have to make a very quick decision as to whether the event is interesting. They take in about 300 gigabytes per second of data, and we can't record all of that data, so we have to say, is it interesting or not?
In these tunnels, they plan to accelerate tiny subatomic particles, called electrons and positrons, to near light speed, and then annihilating them by smashing them into one another. Physicists say that such collisions replicate the conditions found just after the Big Bang.
About a millionth of a second after the Big Bang, it was so hot and dense that normal matter as we know it melts, and you have this soup of quarks and gluons. And by colliding these lead ions together, what we call them, we actually create mini Big Bangs where matter will actually melt and we will form this quark-gluon plasma in the centre of ALICE.
The huge amount of energy and high temperature that is generated should produce a shower of other subatomic particles, which in theory would produce the Higgs boson.
Well, the data from the LHC project is far too much to analyze here at CERN alone, so we need over 100 other data centers around the world to help us. This is a worldwide LHC computing grid that we've set up, and these centers have banks of computers themselves. Some of them, the large ones, will actually store copies of the data that we will store also here at CERN, and in this way we'll be able to store and analyze the data really in a global fashion.
Physicists have been trying to find the Higgs boson ever since it was first proposed by Peter Higgs, a Scottish academic in the early 1960s. So far, they have spent an estimated 7.5 billion euros on machines and experiments, but to little success. It's a big facility to find a small particle, but physicists hope it will help solve their long-term questions about existence.
The main thing I think we will learn, we'll understand better what are the smallest parts of the proton. What is inside the proton? What are the smallest objects that we're all made of? However, I think we'll also discover new massive particles that nobody has had a chance to investigate before in experiments on Earth.
The big idea of the Large Hadron Collider may not unlock all the secrets of the universe, but it could take our understanding of the way the world was made to new heights.